Welcome to Talking Points. I'm Esme Murphy. If you invested in Bitcoin a year ago, you'd be doing very, very well right now. The current price is hovering under $120,000, but last year at this time, it was at $66,000. That's an increase of 78%. It's a return on investment that anyone would be thrilled with. And listen to this one. If you had invested $1,000 in Bitcoin in 2010, you would be a billionaire today. But it has been a rocky road. Some early investors were scared away. In 2017, Bitcoin was at 20,000. A year later, it was at 10,000. While Bitcoin is the first cryptocurrency, there are now thousands of active cryptocurrencies that are seeking your money. To help us understand this and to help understand the crypto world, we are joined by Pete Najarian. He is a financial analyst, a TV host, a frequent TV guest on many networks, and has been actively involved in the crypto world and still is in terms of investing. Yeah. But you pointed out to me that you also still invest in stocks and bonds.
I do. Stocks, options, all those things, bonds, all those are still the primary. But as crypto grows, I get more and more involved each and every day, each and every week.
What is crypto?
Well, crypto is just a way that somebody was able to create something, their own currency, and that's what this is. It's a currency that doesn't have the backing of government, doesn't have the backing of banks, and that's part of the reason why it is so volatile. But people have gotten more and more excited over it each and every year. As you said, going back to 2010, just think of those kinds of gains that you could make. But I would also say, I don't know how many people held that whole time either.
Is Bitcoin safe?
Is it safe? That is a great question. If you asked somebody like Jamie Dimon, who probably most people in the world think he's one of the sharpest people, I'm one of them. I think he's one of the sharpest people in the financial world.
Head of JP Morgan.
Head of JP Morgan Chase, and he's an amazing guy. He did not embrace it at all 3-4 years ago. And it took until almost now where he's finally starting to embrace crypto. But for all the right reasons. It's extremely volatile, so people need to know that. They need to know that this thing bounces up and down all over the place all the time. It's very rarely in any one spot financially than it was a month ago or 6 months ago.
And what does it mean that it's not backed by the government? I mean, people want to know if it's safe.
Right. Well, it's not backed by the government. Is it safe? I don't know that I could give you a really clean answer for that one, other than to say, without that backing, to me, that's what makes it that much more risky. So you're investing in something that isn't backed by the government or financial institutions, banks, and that's what makes it so scary for a lot of people, including Jamie Dimon. I think that's where everybody kind of backed up and said, wait a minute. But it is an investment that people are very, very excited about right now, and it's been growing, growing, and there's a limited amount of the asset.
One of the things that has people confused is the fact that it's not just Bitcoin. There are literally thousands of active cryptocurrencies right now. There are actually millions that have been created, but they're not active. What about those ones? When do you, and including, I might add, the President of the United States has also created his own cryptocurrency. What about investing in those? Because all these people want your money.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the two biggest that exist out there right now are Bitcoin and Ethereum. They are the biggest and the baddest that there are. Now, that being said, recently we just had a passing of, the government had to get the votes for this, but we now have stable coins out there that are part of this whole thing. Stable coins are much more something close to what we would think of as your standard, less volatile sort of a creation of this whole crypto world.
And one of the president's cryptocurrencies is stable coin, and
less volatile.
And this literally just happened. They're basically setting up the regulatory framework. Literally just passed a few weeks ago, or maybe last week, the Genius Bill. What will this do? Because regulation is a big deal in the financial world. What will it do?
I think it'll give it a better opportunity for people to feel more secure. Now, does that mean they absolutely are more secure? I don't know that I could give you that answer, and that's part of the problem. But because that's based upon the stable coin, it's not based upon Bitcoin, it's not based upon Ethereum and some of the more actively traded and the names that people are far more familiar with. But the interesting thing has been, I've watched athletes over the last 10 years who have started to get some of the payment of their contracts, for instance, that they sign these monstrous contracts in the NFL and the NBA and other NHL I have not seen, but that are getting payment, half of it in dollars and half of it in Bitcoin.
Oh, really?
So,
I didn't know that. Yeah,
it's
you used
incredible.
to play in the NFL,
Yeah.
so I'm sure you know a lot of people in that world.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see, and there's a lot of different names out there that have put huge amounts of money this way. Because if let's be honest, if you sign a $25 million contract and you decide, well, I can have 50% of it in Bitcoin, you've probably done extremely well. And that's something that we've seen time and time again. And what I'm so proud about is that these athletes are really digging deep into this and trying to understand it. And with that understanding, having the guts to be able to invest in it, which
Right.
I think is incredible. And in some cases, it's 25% or 50% of what they're getting paid,
Wow.
they are taking in crypto.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, and they're also very, very young.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
that makes a difference. I mean, I asked you about crypto, and you said, well, I'm also doing stocks and bonds. Being very, very clear that,
Yeah.
that you're not, you are diversified.
Yeah.
What do you say to people that are thinking of dipping in?
Know that it is that volatile. Know that it is something that is still a work in progress. And if that is okay and you're comfortable with it, one of the reasons and one of the things you and I talked about off air was one of the reasons that I think there's so many young people involved in this, much more so than people my age. I'm 61 years old. So I think it's because they're willing to take the risks. They understand that it is something that could move dramatically to the negative side, just as much as it could go dramatically to the upside. So they're willing to take that risk. I probably, at my age and everything, I'm probably not taking that risk. I'm considered a risky guy because I trade options for a living.
Yeah.
Bitcoin's a whole lot riskier than that.
And one thing, I mean, right now it's doing very, very, very well. It's 78% up. Do you think it will continue to be volatile?
I think it'll continue to be volatile.
Okay.
I think in the long run, which is not an easy thing for people to digest, but if you're willing to go out multiple years, there's a lot of very intelligent people in Wall Street that are coming out and saying, you know what, I think that Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million. Now, I didn't say that.
I saw one
Others
person
have
said 3 million.
Right,
Yeah.
and there's even higher numbers than that. But, that's all speculation. That's all just based upon what they've seen so far since the life of this whole thing really took to life. That's what people are kind of banking on.
There are even some Bitcoin ATMs in this area that people see at gas stations, and I guess people are using those. Any thoughts on those? Or
I'm sure it's fine, and my guess would be that they're using small amounts of money for that type of a transaction. So I would say that that's probably relatively safe, but it comes with a lot of risk. It does come with a lot of risk, and people have got to know that.
Right, and you said it's obviously expensive, but you can buy a part.
Yes, pieces of it.
Pieces of it, because otherwise you'd be shelling out $117,000 right now. In terms of the regulation and where the president is going, obviously the president is very pro-crypto. He's been that from the beginning. He campaigned on that. There's a new bill with regulations. He has his own company. There's controversies about that. But do you see this as sort of the age of crypto, when it's sort of really becoming mainstream?
Yeah.
Like right now?
I do. I see that exactly that. And one of the examples I could give you is look at the companies out there, not just the Donald Trump company, but that has $2 billion worth of crypto in it.
But that's because people have bought it.
Right.
If nobody bought it, it'd be worth nothing. Yeah. But the president created this, and people wanted it, and that's why it's worth so much money.
And the other part of the thing that has really grabbed me of late, in the last, call it 6 months, maybe a year or so, but there's a company out there, MicroStrategy. And Michael Saylor is the CEO of that company, and he invests in huge amounts of money that they're making as a company into Bitcoin. And we're also seeing that out of Elon Musk with Tesla. They're going out and buying it. So when you see that's getting something, a little bit of a run of late, it's really been incredible. And Ethereum also, we're starting to see more and more companies buy that.
Tell us about Ethereum, because
it's the secondary stepchild. It's like Coca-Cola and Pepsi, right?
Okay. Well, that's something, an analogy people can understand. What about Ethereum? I know less about that. What is it?
It's far less money. I think presently it's trading somewhere between, and these things are volatile, so I'm going to say a big wide, $3,000 to $5,000 for Ethereum. And as you mentioned, we're looking at $118,000, $119,000 when you're talking about Bitcoin. So I think that's one of the things that becomes more attractive to some people too. And that's the number two. Look at that big gap that you've got in terms of how people value Bitcoin versus Ethereum. And it's interesting. And it's something where if you were asking me right now which one of those is probably the one that could double faster, I would probably answer Ethereum, just because of where it is numbers wise against where Bitcoin is right now. But if people are right about what they're saying, that Bitcoin could go to 1 million or 3 million or even higher than that, that wouldn't be so bad either.
It could go to zero too.
It certainly it could go down, and we've seen it go down, and we've seen the waves that it makes, and it could be a scary ride.
Okay. Well, Pete Najarian, thank you so much for helping us sort this out. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching this edition of Talking Points. That's it for this edition. You can email me or contact me at esme@cbs.com. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Esme Murphy, WCCO News.